Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. I just want to remind myself and all of you a little story. You've probably heard it before, but it's important, I think, to remember on days like today. So Amazon, when it came out, it launched in 1997. The share was selling for $18. By December of 1998, it was selling for $300. But we know in March of 2000, the market crashed. It fell down to $6 and it lost 95% of its value for nearly 2 years. Point being, today it's a $1 trillion company in terms of market value. And there are, I believe, many Amazons among us in the cryptocurrency space. So please remember, this is a long game. I'm going to share with you some articles and some headlines that take place in Japan and around the world so that you can see that this is a space that is here to stay and has some gigantic opportunity. So even Miko says, hello, everybody. And please hang in there for me because I have some very interesting stories. Okay. First one, Fidelity, Bakkt, and the ETF approval. That is just an example of one catalyst that could drive Bitcoin's price to the $15,000 range in 2019. This is what Sonny Singh says. He is the chief commercial officer of BitPay. He did a 3-minute interview with Bloomberg today, and he cites this in his interview, and I just couldn't agree with him more. The last 12 months have really been all about providing the rails and putting in place the financial instruments to take this market to the next level. All right, this is actually something that I think everybody's talking about all over the world. This just happens to have a Japanese skew on it because it is against the Japanese yen. So we look at the pricing action that has occurred over July 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21st. And you can see that Bitcoin has lost 15%. When we take Ethereum against the Japanese yen, it's lost 20%, but XRP has miraculously been able to hold its own. And this has definitely been because I think everybody has worked so hard to promote it, to get decoupled from Bitcoin. And we were able to see just this small spread of difference. And poor BCH, with this terrible hash war, it has seen a 32% loss in this time frame. So talking about decoupling, this is Bitsy. It's very big in South Korea, Japan, and Singapore. They're actually in Hong Kong. They have been in business since 2016, but they are announcing that today XRP is going to be paired to USDT, and this is just one more way for XRP to shine on its own. Okay, here's an interesting story out of Japan. Nippon Yusen Kaisha, it is the largest shipping line by sales. They are going to introduce their own digital currency that will be used by the crew members. So it will be pegged to the US dollar. There are 800 ships in their line, and they have nearly 18,000 crew members. They are sailing across the world, so they go into ports all over, and this will be something that will allow them more ease of being able to buy the things that they need when they go into port and not have to necessarily convert into the local currencies every time. Okay, Swift India announced that they are going to partner with MonetaGo to provide a benefit to all the Indian banks. This is a pilot program that will facilitate fraud prevention for banks in a secure and reliable environment using distributed ledger technology. So this is really not about payments. This is to create a solution to avoid double financing and also provide a solution to help them in their factoring business. So when you have factoring, you sometimes leave a lot of smaller invoices on the table that take a lot of effort to collect on, and sometimes those things get lost and forgotten because of the amount of work it takes. So this is going to help them. They are actually, if we go to the MonetaGo website, we'll see here that they are using the Hyperledger. The company is out of New York City. They have some amazing talent on their team. Actually, if you go to the main website, you'll see that they are very deep and rich and strong into the banking and finance world, with lots of prestigious companies for their experienced talent to put this together. So their goal right now is to provide better access through real-time exchanges for secure, fraud-proof factoring of invoices. So that's probably a headline that you're going to see over the next couple of days. All right, here is something surprising. Saudi Arabia will launch its own cryptocurrency in 2019. This project is actually backed by the Saudi Central Bank, and it's a venture between the country itself and the United Arab Emirates. So not too much is known about the currency at this time. It has no official name, and its potential success remains unclear. But yeah, it's a little odd because they just announced, that they were going to join RippleNet, but the Central Bank of Saudi Arabia wants to improve upon its cross-border payments. So at the end of the article, it does state that, maybe possibly the RippleNet solution, along with the central bank issued digital currency, can it potentially coexist in the same country? That's the question mark that is posed on this story. Okay, blockchain VC investment surged 316% in 2018. This is a new study that just came out. I have a lot of takeaways. I'll go over those for you quickly if you don't have time to look at the 29 slides. It's a very good study. So it's called The Empire Strikes Back, and VC investments in this space are at an all-time high. That's why we see that 316% increase. So here are some of the key points. The ICOs are down, everybody knows. Some 74% of spectators have totally fled. So I think the interest in ICOs, because there were so many that were a little bit on the, we say botakuri. Botakuri means the ripoff. Maybe too many of them out there were taking advantage of people who were throwing money at them. So that is really down. In fact, it's down to just 1 billion in quarter 3 as opposed to 3.8 billion in quarter 1. Banking is driving the wheel of cryptocurrency. So I'm not surprised at that at all. Market high, we were at 829 billion, of course, at the beginning of the year. We're down to today at $145 billion market cap. Daily volumes are also down some 50%. This quarter is down to 10 billion. We were at 20 billion in quarter 1. Bitcoin futures, they've seem to have lost a little bit of interest. But despite the crypto winter, the trading infrastructure is booming. So they cite Fidelity, Citibank has a project. Of course, there's ICE, which is the Intercontinental, the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange, along with Microsoft and Starbucks. The Bakkt is going to be a big thing. I know it got delayed a little bit, but better that it's ready than trying to launch something that's not totally ready. Money is moving into the late stage projects. So you no longer can just get money by producing white papers, basically. And there have been 50 mergers and acquisitions. And I think that shows you that the space is starting to mature. 115 deals have been done with VC funding. So it's not at all dying. There is still great interest and great opportunities. Okay, not to talk about this story too much, but I just wanted to give you a resource. Mex Research is going to keep track of how much money is being spent on this crazy hash war, and Bitcoin Cash ABC and Bitcoin Cash Satoshi's Vision, or SV, so far are both a little over $4 million in the hole at fighting this crazy war. So if it interests you to follow along, this is a good resource for you. Okay, sticking with Twitter, the digital asset investor tweeted out to Bakkt, and he encourages everybody in the XRP community to do so. He put together a very good little chart about why XRP should be considered. So he writes, "Hi Bakkt, I read an article that said you wanted feedback on the digital asset to add next. I thought this chart may aid in your decision-making process." Perfectly put, DAI. I just love it. So how could you not consider XRP after looking at this chart? So I too, along with Digital Asset Investor, encourage everybody to tweet the Bakkt group. Okay, this is from one of my favorite XRP community people in Japan, Twins Naoki. And Naoki found something that was published on the 16th. I totally missed it. And it is a website that talks about the feedback it got from nearly 139 employees at Ripple and what it's like to work there. And you can see it is amazing. I'm going to put the link in there because there's a lot of information. I actually wrote down a whole lot of things, but I think the one thing that totally stands out is that 99% have great pride at working at Ripple. And the other thing I saw too is that when a job opening comes up, there are approximately 130 applicants per opening, which I think is kind of interesting. They're a very progressive company. I think they're a great model for companies around the world to follow, but they score so high, in the high 90s, in terms of positiveness all the way across the board. So yeah, feel free to have a look if you're interested, or maybe you even want to get a job at Ripple, because I think they're going to be growing. They have grown They have grown close to 300 employees now. I think it's cited in here somewhere. Where does it say? This is a lot of information. They have a really good benefits. Boy, I just don't know where that number of employees is now, but they have grown quite a bit. I think they have doubled the size of their employees this year. Well, anyway, very interesting. Okay, I'm going to move into the fluff. So I wanted to use the same website. You know, I was familiar with Glassdoor, but I really didn't know this great place to work site. In the Japanese version, it's called Hataraki Gai. It's got a little bit of a different name because it's localized for the Japanese language. But you can see here Cisco Systems is rated #1. And then there's Plan Do See. They're kind of an upscale hotel events wedding planner. It looks kind of fun to work for them. And then Disco and Salesforce.com, American Express, Prudential, Morgan Stanley. IKEA, Johnson and Johnson, yeah, DHL, yeah, Lilly, Accenture, SAP. Anyway, come down here to one of my favorite companies. Number 23 is Mooji. Now, if you don't know Mooji, I'll introduce you a little bit, but you probably will know Mooji very soon because they're on a huge global expansion. In fact, they just opened their Portland, Oregon store last week. And I was so happy to see that in this first flagship store for the Pacific Northwest, they are introducing the Mooji. Now, if you don't know Mooji, this is great. This is part of their green activism. They are very green in a quiet way. So they're not pushing it on people. They practice it. And what I mean is that they always have less packaging. They believe in simplicity, prudence, and self-restraint because this is enough, as they say. So it has kind of a Japanese philosophy about motanai, which is don't waste. And they have a very interesting program. So in Mooji, you can bring your unwanted clothes into the store and they will take them and for the most part re-dye them into one of the shades of indigo blue. When that occurs, it becomes a one-of-a-kind new garment that they sell. So you can see here there is a light blue, kind of a medium blue, and a dark blue. This blue is very famous in Japan. It's been used since the Edo period. So from the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, this blue has been something. It's Miko sharpening her claws. This blue has been a favorite color by worn by all the classes in Japan. They just love it. And those garments that are turned into Mooji that can't be resold are actually turned into bioethanol. So they really are doing their part to be a conscious retailer when it comes to the planet. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I just wrote down a few points. You know, they put solar panels on their distribution centers. They have a crib rental program. They also sell imperfect spaghetti. So, you know, if spaghetti doesn't come out totally straight and unbroken, very often those pasta companies throw it away, but they take that throwaway and they sell it. Anyway, that kind of thinking is what they do. And I think they're doing a very good job at being socially conscious and being good for the planet. All right, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the U.S. Boy, in Japan, it's just another work day. So I will probably be doing a video for you very soon. Okay, sayonara for now. Take care. Bye-bye.